Usually Natasha keeps time for us. I don't know if she's going to do it. But we want to ask these comments not to be about a minute or so, but something to send a clear message to our community about safety. And as soon as starting from Chloe coming down, we would then end up with our 2 law enforcement officers. And he only asked them to put their chairs here, I think, so he can get Chloe down, but then they would move in for that afterwards. And I'm getting out of the way, and I'm going to be in there. Thank you very much. You, Chloe?
They want to change it.
Oh, y'all want to change? Any kind of way you guys want. It's up to you. Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Collins, and to the officers and members of NAACP and all the citizens who are here tonight. I want to address my comments to our young people because they are absolutely the most valuable people in our community as we talk about our future, our promises, and our potential. And my appeal to them would be to be calm, to think not just for the moment and not to react at the moment, but think about the next day and what will or will not exist. I'm going to appeal to you that if the decision is one that none of us would like, that we think about how it affects us today and in the future. Let's not destroy our own communities. Let's not harm each other. Let's not even go after the people who protect us, our police department and our sheriff's department. We've got to find a way to use common sense, to use good decision making, and think about even in the face of wrong, there's always a way to make it right. And that's going to be my appeal to you. Think about not just today, but what the future might be.
Thank you.
Let me thank the NAACP for having us here and Dr. Collins for having us all here to address important issues, not only for our city, our county, and our state, but for this country. Regardless of what the grand jury comes back with in Ferguson, Missouri, whether it's one that we can agree with or one we don't agree with, let's realize that we can be strong in numbers. We come together in numbers, regardless of our race, creed, or color, to address the issues that happen there and address the issues that can happen here. We can go a very, very long way. Piggybacking on what Ms. Edgecombe said, we don't want to destroy any communities. We don't want to try to hurt anyone. We don't want to hurt those that protect us and put their lives on the line for us each and every day. And we want to come together and put our minds together, whether we're elected officials, there's everyday citizens out there to say, we need to come together to protect our young people, protect everyone, and how can we do that? That's how we make things work in this community. It's going to be tough if the decision comes back a way we don't want it to come back. But do realize that there are other mechanisms that can happen. The federal government can come in, and there can be civil rights charges filed against whomever it may be. So if it comes back that this person is not brought to trial, there are other mechanisms that can happen, and that's what we need to focus on. What we can do to help those things happen. But in our own community, let's come together, work together, and we can make sure that no violence takes place, and we can do what's right to make sure that our community goes forward.
I too would like to thank everyone for, first of all, the invitation to be here tonight, and NAACP for putting this on, and the Housing Authority for hosting us here. And as have already been said, regardless of what the outcome is from the grand jury, we might not be able to control the outcome, but we will be able to control our response to it. So whether you're young or you're old, there are going to be other mechanisms in which we can pursue if the outcome doesn't go the way that we want it to go. We have an Attorney General who is empathetic to the issues facing minorities in this country, and we do have an African American president who is not going to allow something like this to go in a certain direction without the appropriate response. So I still have faith in government. I have faith in our leadership, and I would just ask for calm amongst the people if it doesn't go the way that we want it to go. But I also have more so faith in God. I believe we're going to be surprised by the verdict. I don't think it's going to go the way we think that some people have predicted. I think the right thing is going to happen. But regardless, we must take care of our communities, and we must take care of one another.
Good.
I want to thank Dr. Collins and the NAACP for having us here tonight. And I want to say to the young people, thank you. Thank you. This time, a year or so ago, we were sitting on the same issues, that we're looking at today that's coming down the pipes, and you stood strong. We asked you to stand, and you stood strong. And tonight, I want to ask you again to stand strong. Talk about it, cry if you need to, whatever you need to do to get you through here without anything but calm. Please do that. And I think when it was all over a couple of years ago when we went through the same thing, everyone got together, they talked about it. I think even the young people were proud of themselves of what they did and how well they came through this crisis. This shows how strong you are. And we are a strong group of people. We know that. We've seen this happen from years and years and years back. So this is one of those times we need to march straight ahead, keep our heads up, know that we are doing what's right when we continue to keep the peace. Calm is the word. And let's just use that throughout this session, throughout this event, and we will be victorious at the other end. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Chloe Coney, a woman that wears many hats, and on behalf of Congresswoman Kathy Castor, who could not be here, she is in D.C. fighting the good fight of faith. We like to say with Martin Luther King, he taught us how to be nonviolent. We know the results of marching, but also how important it is the power of the vote. So, you know I'm going to say that. We're going to have to make sure we get good judges. We have to make sure that we have good police officers. We need to have everybody being accountable. And one of the things I like to highlight, and thank you so much to the NAACP and Ms. Collins for inviting us here. I think y'all know, because she's been involved with NAACP, our Congresswoman has no problem writing letters to whoever. And I'm holding a letter that she wrote to the Honorable Eric Holder, our U.S. Attorney, Restoration of Rights. And whatever verdict we have, you have someone who's willing to fight on your behalf for District 14. So I like to say that. So again, we know that our community is going to be safe, it's going to be calm. We have that kind of faith, believing that God is in control. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to have him switch the cameras on our law enforcement officers. Who wants to go first?
I'm Lieutenant Johnson from Tampa Police Department, and thanks for having me here tonight. I represent Jane Castor. Regarding the upcoming events, we're not foreseeing any issues in our community, no matter which way the verdict goes. Part of our job is to make sure that people have the right to protest, peaceful protest, and we have a track record seen through the RNC on how we dealt with that. We tell our officers that it's America's right, it's the citizens' right to protest peacefully over issues that they're very concerned about. And we make sure our officers recognize that and they know how to deal with certain situations. It is going to be a very passionate couple of days, no matter which way the verdict goes. And for the youth out there and those that have kids out there, let them know there is a way. And we've seen by our folks that came before us, the civil rights movement, on how to handle passionate scenes out there and passionate conversations. For the police department, we're going to make sure that we provide a safe environment for people to protest and stress their concerns, no matter which way the verdict goes. Thank you.
Good evening. The sheriff accepts sends his apologies for not being able to attend tonight, but he's very much concerned about the Ferguson decision, and he doesn't have a good feeling about how that decision is going to turn out, but he's also aware of the fact that what happened in Ferguson, it could very well happen here in Tampa and in Hillsborough County, and he's very concerned about that, and he wants the public to know. So he penned a few words down the paper, and this is going to be printed in the Sentinel. We talked with Gwen Hayes, and if nothing prevents her from putting it in the Sentinel tomorrow's edition, it's in there. But I want to read just a few things that he cited. While our nation waits for the grand jury decision from Ferguson, Missouri regarding the shooting death of Michael Brown, people of compassion and character share the hope and expectation that justice will be served. I understand the very real pain and anger this shooting has instilled, especially in light of so many facts remaining unknown. Within the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, I and other senior leaders have been meeting with youth groups, community leaders, educators, and parents with the expectation that this event and others like it are confronted and prevented whenever possible. I very much appreciate these meetings, and I ask for the Black community's continued support to help promote peace and public safety in our community in the days to come. Whatever the Ferguson outcome, Hillsborough County should step forward as an example to the nation of a peaceful, diverse community in which community leaders and citizen groups have successfully worked with a law enforcement for decades to establish trusting relationships and effective programs. As a result of this work, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office serves as a professional and highly trained law enforcement agency which prioritizes respectful service to the community. Our citizens maintain an understanding of law enforcement operations and the training and policies necessary within such an inherently dangerous profession. We understand that we are not insulated from the risk that an individual law enforcement officer or group of citizens may act in ways that test our trust and partnership. I firmly believe, however, that we have successfully created a solid foundation upon which we address challenges as they arise. Our foundation of collaboration and communication continues to serve us well. The Ferguson shooting and subsequent events have prompted concerned parents and community leaders of all races to hold challenging discussions within our community. Over the last several months, my staff and I have held many meetings with parents and organizations to contribute to this important dialogue. In addition to these meetings, my office has implemented new training titled Fair and Impartial Policing, which provides 2.5 days of instruction that reveals to deputies any inherent biases they may hold and provides them with specific actions to counter the influence of these biases. Recently, the HCSO, which stands for Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, held a Black Advisory Council retreat attended by Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office leadership, the NAACP, the Pastors on Patrol, and other ministers and Black community leaders. We held our first ever Minority Citizens Academy, which contained an abbreviated 2.5-hour faith-based version of the Fair and Impartial Policing training. These activities serve to add new layers to decades of long-standing partnership and communication between the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and the communities we serve. I thank community leaders and groups for the work they have put into strengthening our collaboration and mutual understanding. I seek your continued support and input to help promote peace and community safety in the days leading up to and after the Ferguson grand jury decision. Only together can we keep Hillsborough County a safe place to raise our children build our lives, and prosper. Sincerely, David G. Sheriff.